Alright, so this is going to be the before video of the garage floor. So I'm having a company come in and they're going to resurface the floor here. So I'm not sure if it is an epoxy. There's a couple different companies that do the type of flooring. And one of them said they could do the whole thing in one day. Everything's done. You can drive on it right away or shortly afterwards. And the other guy that I talked to said they're going to come in, they're going to grind the floor down and make sure they get it nice and flat. And then from that point, they're going to put like a slurry of something to like level it or even it to give it all a consistency. You can see there's a lot of marks here where it's popped, and this concrete's 50 years old, so it's pretty rough and there's some cracks. But they put that slurry down, and then he said they have to wait a day or maybe two depending on how it dries. If it doesn't dry right, he said, then they gotta wait. They can't rush the process. And then the following day they put down, I believe it's an epoxy over top of that resurfacing, and then they gotta let that dry, and then the following day they'd come back, as long as everything's drying the way it should, and they're going to put on, I don't know, it's a certain amount of clear. I think he has it figured as mils, so many mils of clear. But there are some cracks in it. He said that's not a problem. He said a slab this old should be fine. There shouldn't be any more shifting, because back in the day they didn't put any relief cuts or anything like that in the concrete, so it just kind of cracked wherever. Obviously there was no sealant either on this concrete here. You can see it's pretty rough. And that's from all the road salt that we have here in Wisconsin. Just eats it up. There's some spots that are really rough here. You can kind of see that there. So it'll be nice when it's finished, and he's going to do the concrete curb, the whole works. And it's not like you'll see when those guys do the epoxy finishes, they put those big giant like flakes in there. This isn't flakes, it's more of like a powder or a sand is the color or the texture or whatever. And it's not like smooth, it has kind of like a grip to it. So we'll have to see. We've been waiting for the weather to warm up here so we can do it. It's got to be, I think, above 50 degrees in order to apply it. So alright, so this is day one. I didn't get any video of them grinding, but they had two grinders that they flattened the floor off, took off any type of sealant that was on the floor, and then they applied this, which I believe he said was like an acrylic, to fill in any of the cracks and the marks that had popped and that type of thing. And then tomorrow he said they'll come back and they're going to sand this flat again to take off, because there's some ridges and stuff. And after they do that, then they'll put the color on, which I believe is the epoxy, and then also the flakes or the sand or whatever. So it was actually not too bad with the dust. I'm not going to say it was dust free, but they got most of it. So here's another look. If you remember, this is where it was all kind of rough, and you can see the darker spots there is where the stuff is a little thicker. It's not quite dry. That's where it had filled in, where those stones or whatever popped up. But the rest of it seems like it's pretty dry already, but they give it a full 24 hours. They'll come back tomorrow morning, and then they just have, I think it's like a stone that's on a stick, I guess. That's what it looked like from when I looked in his truck, and they just kind of grind everything flat again. So, and I guess with the curb, he said they don't have to do anything special with that. They can just apply the epoxy. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow, I guess. Alright, so here's day two. I didn't see them do the actual work today. I was gone. But my wife said that they spent a lot of time sanding it, about an hour or so, I guess. And then they put down like a clear, she thought, and then they dumped, like I said, this is like a sand on top of that, and you can see they got some of it here. So It's real light. And tomorrow they come back and they put they clear over top of this. So I'm assuming they must vacuum or sweep this up, whatever's loose that's not actually in the whatever the base is, and then they'll put the clear over top, and that gives you the hard surface or whatever. So the curbs look okay as well. Seems like it should be okay. So it'll be nice once it's done, we can park in the garage again. All right, so it's finished. I'm pretty happy on how it turned out. Like I said, it's not the real big flake stuff. It's pretty small. And the whole process, like I said, the first day they did the diamond grind, and they put down like an acrylic, I don't know, like patch or something all over the floor. Second day they ground that down, and then they put down the color and this, they're not chips, whatever this stuff is called, the flakes or whatever. And then on the third day they come back and they put down 16 mils of clear. It's pretty good. You can probably see here already against the curb. They got a lot of clear here. It's all like kind of bubbled up. They got kind of carried away with it. It's kind of soft yet. They said we could actually park the cars on it already, and I'm not doing that yet just because to me it doesn't seem like it's cured. We got some really humid weather, and I'm keeping the garage closed here just because I don't know if it would be a good thing for the floor to sweat. There's also like a spot here, and then there's a couple spots where it actually, there's like a bubble. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, where is it here? You'll find it if you step on it. It's like this, the height of a Lego piece. It's like the perfect little singular Lego piece. Oh, right here, there's one. So right here, there's just a little bump there, and you can see it's just about as tall as my finger here, and it's pretty hard. I don't know if that's just like it wasn't mixed well enough, or if this actually bubbled. I'm thinking I'm just gonna take a razor knife and maybe cut that off, but I'm gonna talk with them first. And here's another spot. Actually, no, never mind, that's just a piece of dirt. Here's another spot right here. We get the same type of thing where there's a, see, this one's kind of soft yet. So there's a little bit of red in this. And I'm not sure about the drain here. I know they kind of undersized around it. And then they filled it with this, whatever this clear stuff is, the top coat or whatever. And then I still have to finish the baseboard. I'm just gonna go with like a plastic PVC just to keep it weather resistant for being in here. And that'll just cover up the where that old base used to go. Otherwise though, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's pretty consistent throughout. And considering where we started with the floor, this is much, much nicer. So hopefully it lasts a long time. We'll go through the cost of it here in a second. All right, so the full lowdown here. They did a skim coat entire floor with acrylic cement. They diamond grinded the surface. And they put down executive 3/16 to 1/4 inch coating, heavy traffic and UV resistant commercial grade. Install 16 mils of 100% solids clear epoxy. They broadcast 100% color fleck, and it says 1/16 of an inch crack bed. 10 mils of clear, poly, something for chemical abrasion and UV resistance. That's got to be the top layer. And 5-year commercial, 15-year residential. The square footage that he calculated was 605 square feet, and the cost was $37.81. So not cheap by any means, but I think it probably would be less than having the floor ripped up and replaced with concrete. And this should probably last, I would think, at least 15 years. So, all right, we're gonna call this done.